Hello, this is Rose Faragher, and this is my final presentation for criminal profiling. So my crime type is violence against children. So violence against children can come in many different fonts and forms. These can include neglect, physical abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, and many other forms of abuse. Violence against children can occur and does occur everywhere, but it is most likely to occur at home. And due to that reason, lots of these children do not have voices, and therefore violence against children is one of the most underreported crimes around. So this is an ongoing issue as it continues to have extreme effects on the victims, lifelong traumas, and long-term psychological and physical health issues. So the victims of these crimes tend to be children under the age of 18, with children such as infants or toddlers obviously being at a higher risk of victimization. Both genders can and are affected by violence against children crimes. There are different levels of characteristics for a child abuse perpetuator. There's the individual level, the community level, and the relationship level. Some of the things that exacerbate the issue at an individual level is parents with low social support are more likely to abuse their children. At a community level, parents with 6+ children living in the home are more likely to commit abuse against their children. And at a relationship level, parents who are not married and have low social support are also more likely to abuse their children. So the crime scene. My crime scene involves two siblings from the Jordan family. One is 8 years old, the other is 10. So they were displaying concerning behaviors. These included behaviors such as wetting themselves, the inability to regulate their emotions, and becoming secretive with their parents. So eventually, the 8-year-old Jamie did disclose that they were being sexually assaulted by a boy they referred to by the nickname as Bubbles. They said the boy is around 16 years old and had been assaulting them multiple times a week, with the sibling being the witness. The sexual abuse was referred to as a game by the offender. Um, the offender involved the sexual assaults both involved violent and coercive sexual acts, again, multiple times a week at the park and at on school grounds. The offender always made sure he was alone with the children, and he also threatened the children so that they would not reveal any physical characteristics to their parents. The police said that there was also a similar crime that matched the same description 2 years prior to this one with a victim who was 7 years old. The parents never got justice and they ended up moving provinces. So, some socio-demographic facts about this case and about the offender. So, based on the information that we have received from the victims, the offender is around the age of 16. He would have been around the age of 14 at the previous crime 2 years ago. Gender, he is male. The ethnicity is unknown of the offender as we do not know any physical characteristics. The location of his crimes have always been at the school grounds or the park or the neighborhood surrounding, which means that he most likely lives in close proximity to those areas. Education. So most contact child sexual offenders display lower conscientious than other child sexual offenders, which means that he probably exhibits low academic performance. His social life. So contact social child sexual offenders display antisocial personality traits as well as psychopathic personality traits, and therefore he probably is an outcast and divided from other children his age. So some more socio-demographic traits. With the offender only being 16 himself, he was most likely exposed to early childhood sexual abuse, as well as data proves that experiencing childhood maltreatment is directly associated with juvenile and adult violent offending. The offender, again, is only 16 himself, which classifies him as an adolescent child sexual offender. And adolescent child sexual offenders come from very unstable and dysfunctional families, normally families that have very inappropriate sexual boundaries, and these inappropriate sexual boundaries actually directly contribute to the child having early onset sexually abusive behaviors. These parents also normally have mental health issues and tend to neglect their children. So, psychological factors and personality traits. The adolescent offender is very manipulative. We can see that through his ploy of turning the abuse into a game, also threatening the children so they won't disclose any information. He also has a very controlling personality, likes to be in control of the location, making sure that no one can see what he is doing. He displays antisocial personality and psychopathic personality traits. He also has higher levels of neuroticism and psychopathic personality traits once again. He is also very likely to have a learning disability, as they are found in adolescent children who sexually offend against other adolescent children. So the offender also probably displays disruptive behaviors in the school environment. Uh, and because he is a reoffender, this is again, once again, correlated with antisocial and psychopathic personality disorders. So his behaviors and modus operandi. So his victim preference is children from 7 to 8, and in this case, little boy, children that are easily manipulated and vulnerable. The techniques he uses to groom these children are threatens them, he coerces them into these acts, and also manipulates them into believing they're in games. He chooses the locations that have the most privacy, and he understands the foot traffic around those areas. So he is most likely lives around that area as well because he is familiar with it. He is a repeated offender. Lots of the behaviors are mirrored from the case 2 years prior. So the geographic profile of the crime, he chooses to commit his crimes at the park, the school grounds, and around that area in the neighborhood. In terms of the offender bubbles, he seems to fit the routine activities perspective for geographic profiling, meaning that he commits his crimes depending on his victims' activities and their routines as well as his own. He also relies on three things to be lined up: a motivated offender being one, two, a suitable target, and three, a capable absent of a capable guardian, which has taken place in all three crimes. If these three things do not line up, the crime does not take place. Again, this is another reason why he is most likely lives within the 1 to 2 kilometer radius of the school. Is he in urban or rural? This is an urban setting, as there is a local park and just by where his crimes are being committed, as well as he is unsupervised at the school, which kind of indicates that the school has more children, which indicates an urban setting. So due to the fact that he is 16, he does not have a license himself. That is mainly why we think that he is definitely moving by foot or by bicycle with a narrow geographic path. So some investigative techniques can include cross-checking all of this information with school records of males who are between the ages of 14 to 17 who display disruptive behaviors, go by the nickname Bubbles, and have these behavioral challenges. We can also review all security footage surrounding those areas of the crimes, talk to neighbors and see if they saw anything, also other children in the area to see if they know anybody by the nickname of Bubbles. We can contact the family from the other case to see if they can give us any more updated information. We should be using age-appropriate techniques and interviews for these children. We should be increasing police patrols and adult supervision in the areas of which these crimes took place. So the overall profile of this offender, the offender we are looking for is referred to as Bubbles. That is his nickname. The offender is a juvenile serial offender around the age of 16. This offender tends to commit his crimes in locations that are familiar to him, that are unsupervised and low risk. The offender uses psychological manipulative tactics to abuse vulnerable children. These tactics include coercion, manipulation, secrecy, and threats. The offender's preferred age group seems to be between the ages of 7 and 10 and tends to mainly offend against little boys, or at least in this case. This offender is definitely embedded within the local community as he goes unnoticed in lots of his day-to-day life and is probably an outcast in school environments. The offender displays traits of not only antisocial personality disorder, but also psychopathic personality disorders. The offender likely attends or did attend the local high school. Through his patterns, and due to his age, we are able to confidently say that this offender moves by foot or bicycle with a very narrow geographic path, targeting the locations that he's most comfortable with. He does fit the centrality theory, meaning that he most likely commits his crimes in a circle to where his home is. The offender has been escalating his behaviors and continues to be a threat to the public. He enjoys taking control in his crimes, and he has little to no supervision at home. He also comes from a very unstable and dysfunctional home life, possibly experiencing sexual assault as a child himself. We are unsure about the ethnicity of the offender, as there is little to no description about his physical appearance, but he could very possibly match the rest of the majority of the ethnicity of the neighborhood, but we cannot confidently say that. The information presented here today will be a good guideline for the police and give them good indicators of what to look for when trying to identify the suspect. Here is a reference list. And I would just like to thank everybody for watching my presentation today and taking the time to analyze the profile that I presented. Thank you.